Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino back here to lift off on a brand new journey here on Hit or Quit, as we're talking about the brand new smash hit, Stars on Mars, Stars on Mars, Stars on Mars. And now here is the star of Hit or Quit. It's Jenny Autumn. Jenny, how are you?
I thought we would maybe say that I'm the winch of
No.
Hit or Quit, but maybe I'm just the wench of Hit or Quit. Sorry, I misread my notes. This is a common thing that happened. I learned this from Shatty Daddy, William Shatner
Shatty
himself.
Daddy. Yes, the rebranded William Shatner, who does not quit. He's going on into his 90s here.
He
The
hit and not a quit.
the captain. Yes. So Jenny, this is so exciting to be here to
Man.
talk about this brand new Stars on Mars.
I will give my feelings away very early and say that the only thing that would make me love this show more is if it had a colon. If we were doing stars on
Next
Mars,
season, it'll be Stars on
like
Mars, Jupiter.
yeah, okay. Like I will wait patiently. But other than that, it's like this this show is doing celebrity like reality show perfection.
Yeah,
Like this
so
is
good.
I'm sorry. If you thought Celebrity Big Brother was good,
It's
this
not.
is good.
This is good.
This
This is
is what
good.
you
That was bad.
that was bad. And also you'll never get celebrities to agree to do Celebrity Big Brother, at least not like bigger names, I think. Whereas like 24 days in fake Mars, aka the Australian outback, I'm pretty sure. And like put together this way, like I think you don't watch Special Forces: World's Toughest Test and think like, yes, me, a B or C or D or E list celebrity, would love to do this. You're definitely never doing that. But I think at least after one episode, you watch Stars on Mars and you're like, that looks kind of fun. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think that they are taking the celebrity competition show genre and finally giving us what at least I think you and I want, Rob, personally, when it comes to the absurdity that we like to cover over here on Hit or Quit. And it's fun. It's
Yes.
fun.
It's very fun. And if somebody was going to ask me to describe what is Stars on Mars, I think I would tell them that it's probably similar to that. I do think that there is some Special Forces
Oh
World's
yeah.
Toughest Test in the DNA here. But it's also like, yeah, cross that with like Celebrity Big Brother, where it's
Mhm.
also sort of like we're being very like goofy and campy about the whole thing, where the thing we hated about Special Forces was that they took it so seriously. Like
So
imagine like
earnest.
real astronauts like yelling at these people like, fail, you'd
Yeah.
be incinerated, you'd be in the vacuum of space.
You'd never last a day on Mars, you cretin. Yeah, like,
Mm-hmm.
the ghost of Neil Armstrong there just completely obliterating you. No, that is a perfect explanation of like the campiness, like it's not taking itself too seriously. You're getting kind of fun confessionals. You're getting like jokes within like the like we have a host, like there was no host on
No
Special
host.
Forces World's Toughest Test. Like we that was where it was lacking. It was like you needed something there to make it a little bit fun, and they completely missed that. You are getting, yeah, like fun, silly confessionals. They're doing some fun stuff with the editing, and also it's just like there's an actual competition like aspect of like people that are participating are deciding who goes, whereas like on Special Forces: World's Toughest Test, like people would just quit. There was like it was confusing. I will say the one thing that those two shows do have in common, though, I don't think there's a prize here, right? There's no prize.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah,
I don't think there is.
that's something that maybe our research department can tell us about Stars on Mars. But
I
yeah,
believe they said, it's only one will survive and become the brightest star in the galaxy. And I'm sure that they're probably getting paid per episode, but like if there was a mention of a prize for whoever wins, I certainly missed it.
yeah.
And I did my very best in my, journalistic integrity to get that recorded. So
And Jenny, I do believe that many of our listeners might have not watched Stars on Mars and are listening to check it out. And let me just also, in case it has not been made clear yet, Stars on Mars takes a collection of D and E list celebrities, and they are in some sort of simulator, some sort of like what's the right word to describe this? That they're basically like in like some sort of like a bunker that is
yes.
simulating the experience of what potentially um astronauts that were going into training to go to Mars might live in, even though there is no Mars space station yet or any plans to build something of this size.
People are
This
not hanging
this
out on Mars.
this might be what it was like for people, astronauts on Mars. And you can imagine maybe this is the training they might have to go through. And the production value is strong. The production value
Good. It's
actually
good.
does really support this. I mean, I watched another show in the last year, which is called For All Mankind. And For All Mankind is an Apple TV Plus production that they make it just for me. Nobody else watches this show, and they spend hundreds of millions of dollars on my entertainment, and I appreciate that. So I thank you to everybody over at Apple who
Yes, well
makes
done.
this show for me and like 12 other people who watch it. And so they spend like $1 million like per episode, like just for me. That's basically for me and the other
Oh,
people that watch it.
that's so
Um,
kind.
and there's not that big of a draw. Like this is what it looks like to be on Mars.
I definitely don't understand exactly like how they do it because I did read that it is just somewhere in Australia. It is like some sort of like Australian outback-esque area, but at night it's like they make it very Mars-esque looking.
Mm-hmm.
But then they have this like bunker type situation and like it's nicer than some of the places like the challenge competitors have like
Sure.
lived and like even some versions of Big Brother houses. Like I think it looks pretty cool. And they do like a lot like yeah, like the production value is very intense. Like they have legitimate like space suits. There's like a decontamination zone. Like there
Mm-hmm.
is a lot put into making this seem like legit and realistic and not just like really bad CGI or anything like that. Like it really does seem like they spent a budget. And they have freaking William Shatner as a host. Like, you know what I
Shatty
mean? Like
Daddy.
Shaddy Daddy's here and he's ready. And I just appreciate that Fox said, "Listen, I heard you. I heard what you said about Special Forces: World's Toughest Test, and let me prove to you that I know what to do with a cast of celebrities."
Yeah.
And I just feel like, after 40 something minutes, they I am intrigued and I am very excited about this show.
Well, Shatner is the master at camp to begin with,
For
and
sure.
so that he is great there. He is bringing a lot to all of this. The cast, which I wasn't as excited about when I first saw the names, I think that on the screen, I thought was really, really strong.
Doesn't
I
jump on paper, but like on screen,
It's a fun group.
giving.
It's a
Yeah.
fun group. Yeah,
Everyone's fun. Yeah.
yeah. So
I thought even some of the people that I was like less familiar with, I'm like, okay, this is good.
yeah.
I'm happy with this person here.
Should we run through the people that are here and our
Sure.
level of excitement for each of them?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now, all right. It's full spoilers. Right.
Oh, yeah, we're going spoilers.
That was the section of telling you what's going on here. Let's just tell
Go
you.
watch it.
Okay. All right. Christopher Mintz Plasse.
Yeah.
Okay.
AKA McLovin.
McLovin. AKA
Depending on
McLovin.
who you ask, they will call you McLovin or they will not.
He seemed like a really nice guy.
So I will say, I watched I follow like the Reality Club on Fox Twitter
Yep.
account or whatever it is. And because I had to get those good farmer wants a wife gifts and stuff
Yep. You got to.
back in the heyday, literal heyday. But I watched some of like the pre-season, like they were posting some stuff on the Twitter.
Did you get
And
spoiled?
no, not spoiled, but
Oh.
they like I think they had like like people were recording videos like talking about like, oh, I don't think I'm gonna do so well. And Christopher, aka McLovin, I fell in love with him like pre-show. Even though he was one of the most recognizable people for me personally going into
They had him going first.
yeah. Yeah. And they should, because he is probably one of the most like at least facial recognizable people on the cast.
Mhm.
There were a ton of names I recognized, but like I don't think that I would have maybe seen their face and been like, "Oh, that's definitely that person." You see this man, he looks the same. Like he's just an older version of McLovin. And he was really fun on this little video I watched where he's talking about he's got like that self-deprecating humor like that, but he like just the right amount of it where it's like not too
Yeah.
annoying.
And he's been in like, he has probably like 50, 60 IMDb credits. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like he was like just a one and done.
No, but he had such an iconic, memorable first role, and also he's got like he has that like I didn't age kind of face. You know what I mean? So like I think that
Mm,
that also kind of like plays a part there where it's like you see him and you still see like the fake ID, the McLovin. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like it's yeah.
Yeah, he was fun to have there. We'll talk about what goes wrong. Ronda Rousey is here, and I was surprised that Ronda Rousey was doing this. Ronda Rousey has had, like, of course, a very formidable MMA career, and then also was, a WWE champion up until very recently. And so, surprised to see Stars on Mars pull in Ronda Rousey.
And I think we got an explanation of like how they got Ronda Rousey when we get like her little opening package where she tells us that she is a big space nerd, and
Mhm.
she basically says that it's too late to become an astronaut, and this is like the closest thing that she can do to like get that sort of experience. And like even later, in the episode we get uh again McLovin and Chris saying that like I don't know if any of these people could survive on Mars except for maybe Ronda Rousey. So there's something about this particular experience that I think is very special for Ronda. So I
Yeah.
think maybe that's how they got her.
Jenny, this is the most I've ever liked Ronda Rousey on anything.
Yeah, she seemed I went
I
into it
do
thinking
not
that
care
like
for her as a wrestler. I
yeah,
was
I've
ecstatic when Liv Morgan beat her at Money in the Bank last year. And then I have never been a big fan of her wrestling work, but I was excited to see her here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always happy to have like a recognizable name, and like especially like I feel like female athletes too, like you don't like I just feel like they're so like underrepresented in some of these like reality TV casts, and like people just don't know some of the names they bring because like women's sports is like not given the platform that it maybe deserves. But this is someone that I recognize even though I don't follow closely any of the sports, like
Mhm.
the physical
Well, you
arts
were a
that she
fan of
takes
her
place.
from her work in the Entourage movie, right?
Of course.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, but I went in thinking, I'm like, "Oh, she's gonna drive me nuts." Like, I definitely didn't go in, like, I'm like, "Oh, we need to have a villain. We need to have a villain." She seems likable, like, she seems like she's getting along with people.
Yeah, you know what the villain is? The vacuum of space, okay? That's the real villain.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're all fighting against here, so,
Mhm. Okay. Um,
yeah, so
let's then touch on Tom Schwartz. Jenny, do you know anything about the Vanderpump scandal? Do we need to get Brian Cohen on the phone?
Okay, well, I mean, I'd be happy to talk to Brian Cohen. I don't get a lot of opportunities to, and I
Mhm.
think he's very fun. Um,
How soon can you
every
get Haley Strong at your house?
Oh, it's late. Haley
Yeah, she's in
Haley
bed.
is
She's in
a
bed. It's
early to bed kind
9:30.
of
Yeah.
gal. If it were earlier, I think I could maybe do it. So everything I know about Vanderpump Rules and its world is, I don't want to say against my will. I could block it out if I really didn't care. But I know it literally just from Twitter, from other people talking about it, from all of my friends that I love so much, being very expressive about it. And I know a lot of people that are very like into it. Like
Mhm.
I am like half following the scandoval of it all. Like they literally mention this when they which like what's the timeline of this show? Like they introduce Tom Schwartz and they say like most recently like involved with Scandoval. Like
I don't know. I don't know how recently they filmed this.
I just feel like that wasn't like
I'll
that was
ask our
only a
research
thing like
department about that
yeah,
also.
again, we got to get the research department on this because
Mhm.
I don't know when this was filmed, but I
Mhm.
really loved I really loved that, like, again, the editing is so fun because, like, you get, Chris, AKA McLovin come in, and then you get Ronda Rousey, and, Chris is hilarious. He's like, "Ooh, well, maybe we'll get a Timothy Chamberlain," and then Rhonda says she wants Matt Damon,
Yeah.
and then we get the, like, computer voice being like, "Matt Damon unavailable. Welcome, Tom Schwartz."
Mhm. Yeah. No, the
Like, this
computer
is the
was
best we could
funny.
do.
I don't know if they had somebody, like, improving on the computer, they did that in post, but
No, I don't
the
yeah.
computer was killing it.
I wanna believe that it's improv just because, like, I would enjoy it so much more, but even if it is post, like, they did a great job with it. Like, there are a lot of really funny, quick, like, bits,
Mhm.
based on, like, what everyone is saying, which is one of the best parts of the show. It's like, it's in on the joke, but, like,
Right.
not in, like, a trying too hard way. You know what I mean? Like, I feel
Well,
like sometimes shows do kind of, like, take it a little too far. I feel like this is, like, staggering the line.
McLovin went to go, like, drink the water and was like, "All right, computer, I'm gonna drink the water, like, stop me if I shouldn't be drinking it," and he drank it in the water, the computer's like, "It's poison," and then he's like, "What?" And he's like,
He
"No,
spits it
just
out.
kidding.
Yeah.
Psych."
Yeah, they like whatever this voice is has a sense of humor, and I like that because I have become weathered from the overly earnest, taking itself too seriously genre, and this is fun. It's quirky. Like
Mhm.
have a good time with this. This is silly. We are in fake Mars, okay? Like we should not be taking this too
Don't
seriously.
take
So
it too
I'm glad that the
seriously.
show is actually in on it.
Yeah. Okay. We start to pick up the pace a little bit with the people coming through. Tallulah Willis is here. Did not know anything about I knew about
I
Rumor Willis,
I know Rumor Willis,
but there's
and
also Tallulah Willis.
I'm guessing Tallulah's younger.
I guess so.
Um,
Does Tallulah Willis wear a Jughead hat?
um I never thought of it that way, but yes. I
Mhm.
think maybe you're right.
Yeah.
You
That I
think that
wasn't
that's
sure if that
picking
was
up.
because Tallulah got an assignment, that she had to wear it, or did she have the Jughead hat the whole time?
Well, then there was, like, another point where, where Natasha's also wearing like a similar, not
Jughead
quite
hat.
the Jughead hat. It was almost like a hat with like little cat ears or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There was like some weird like headwear going on in some of
Yeah.
these cases, but yeah, Tallulah Willis, and she's
Whatever.
an artist and or actress. I've never seen
She's a
any of
nepo
her work.
baby. She's a
She
nepo baby.
the quintessential nepo baby, as
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Portia Williams that said that. So
Yep. Okay, and Portia Williams is here also. She was
yes,
fun.
queen. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
really fun. Like she was like really bringing the energy. Like I feel like
From Real
almost
Housewives of
everyone on this
Atlanta.
cast like delivers. Yeah.
Yeah, I think every Real Housewife of Atlanta has been contractually obligated to do other celebrity
Yeah.
reality.
I think it is part of the deal now at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm happy with her. She's good.
Yeah, she was fun. We also had Adam Rippon.
Yeah.
Did not know anything about Adam Rippon.
See, I don't know a lot of Olympians, but I do know Adam Rippon, and I think he had like a viral like Britney Spears thing. I feel like I'm making, maybe did I make that up? I
In
don't
what
know.
way?
Like a TikTok maybe.
Yeah, like Leave Britney Alone. That was him.
Yeah, not that one, but like
Okay.
something related to.
Yeah.
But like I know, like I at least was, at least familiar. Like if I saw his face, I think I would recognize it, which is like more than I can say for like a lot of Olympians.
Okay. In addition to Adam Rippon, we had Tanashi.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I've heard that like this is who we're standing, and
We're standing Tanashi.
that's what I've been told, Rob, and who am I to argue?
Okay.
I
Just
liked her. She's really fun.
remind me why we stand Tanashi.
I don't know. She is an
A great astronaut.
I guess she's an aspiring astronaut.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that like people were just kind of like surprised, like being like, okay, Tanashi, like,
Okay.
but she's like, I don't know, she's got like a fun little energy. She's got like a little Spitfire energy. Like, I
You
love
need
like,
that. You need
yeah,
that
I
in
don't know.
space. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. Ariel Winter is here. Ariel Winter is one of the children from the
Modern
Modern
Family.
Family.
Yeah, it was also very confusing because like I knew who she was from Modern Family and like Phil did not, and it's very rare that he like
Phil
doesn't know
Dunphy.
the TV thing and I do.
Mm-hmm.
But you might not recognize her because her character on Modern Family, like she's got like almost black hair and like glasses, and on Stars on Mars, and I don't know if this is her normal look. She's
Yeah.
like bright red hair, like full ginger
Right. I
status.
did not recognize her at all, who she was, until they said that she was from Modern Family. And really, like, her character on Modern Family was kind of like the Meg Griffin of like, she
Yes.
was like very much like and it's ironic because she's like supposed to be like really smart. The older daughter was the not as smart one
Mhm.
on Modern Family, but here Ariel Winter is responsible for the biggest goof of the entire show, mistaking one of the other people we haven't talked about yet, Lance Armstrong. She has conflated with real life astronaut Neil Armstrong.
And I feel like we manifested this, but like obviously like we didn't manifest it because like it happened before we would have said anything. But like I feel like you and I talked about like
Yeah,
the fact that this would happen.
yeah. Well, I think that this was in the promotional materials for this, so maybe
But
we were
only
like,
like a couple days ago, and I swear maybe this was like one of our off podcast moments,
mhm,
where we were saying, is there a situation where we have an Armstrong on the cast and everyone
mhm.
is pretending to be astronauts? Does someone not know the difference between
Yeah.
Lance Armstrong and Neil Armstrong? Like, are we in a world where, suddenly Taran Armstrong has been to
Has
space?
Taryn been to? Well, I think a lot of people do think that Taryn has been to space.
I mean, Listen, I
And there was
support
that
anyone
one
in
Big
their
Brother Canada season where there was like on a spaceship.
Yeah, I guess. Like, there's a lot of futuristic Big Brother Canada
Yes.
houses, so maybe just by virtue of being there, he has been to space.
Yeah.
It's probably just as space-like as this fake Mars bunker, so
Yeah. Also, RIP to Neil Armstrong, who passed away in 2012.
Yeah, and we get this so I mean, if you haven't seen it, even if you didn't watch the show, you can see this scene where Ariel Winter has a confessional where she's like, "We have a freaking astronaut here, like Lance Armstrong, you need to Google him, like he's done the coolest stuff." And then like goes like I don't know how many hours she thought that this was the same person, because she also goes to Portia and she's like, "Yo, I can't believe we have a freaking astronaut here. Is he gonna be our judge or something?" And Portia's like, "What?
Nobody
What are you
corrected
talking
her.
about?" No, I think they're like, "Bless her
Bless your
heart."
heart.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah. Or do you think there were other people that were, like, maybe not fully sure, and they're like, "I'm just gonna wait until someone proves me wrong." But, like, they do these little things, and this is what made me think that they don't, see this, because so as each person comes into the, like, whatever, through the decontamination zone, they had these little, like, introductory, like, digital, like, screen things, and they would be
Mhm.
like, "Lance Armstrong, like, professional cyclist,"
That's a
and,
good
like,
impression of the computer voice.
thank you. And like they would show like an image of him on a bike and it would literally say like professional cyclist. And so made me think that that was maybe just for post like production, and like because like if you're Ariel Winter and you saw that, you're like, he's an astronaut. Like, no, they
Yeah.
just told you his occupation
Yeah,
actually.
maybe she couldn't see what was going on, but
Yeah, but yeah,
yeah,
that's rough for her.
nobody was stopping her with that. They love that. All right. So, we get the dynamic duo. They
Oh
come in
man,
together.
I loved it.
It's Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman. And Richard Sherman, like, he's a colorful guy that he has a podcast. He has a big personality. But Marshawn Lynch,
Stole the show.
he steals the show. He would, Jenny, did you watch the Murderville episode where Marshawn Lynch was on?
No, but I will watch anything that Marshawn Lynch is on
He's
now, so
so
I will go back
good.
and watch this.
No, he really
He's
is.
incredible.
I don't know why he's not on more things, because it seems like he
It's
has like a really good like comedic sense of
oh my
timing.
god, yes.
Unless it's not like he's not playing it up for the camera at all. Like he is just a big character. He's so fun here. He's so good, and I don't know why he doesn't have like his own show.
I don't know, maybe he's like Ronda Rousey and, like, this is just he's a big space nerd, and this is, like, the
Is
one
that
thing
it?
he'll do. He's been asked everything else. He
Because
did not wanna do special forces.
I don't know, like, why the tagline for the show isn't "You can't spell Marshawn without Mars."
Oh my god. If he
Think
doesn't
about it.
say that at some
Think about it.
point,
Yeah.
like I don't know what we're doing here. That's incredible. He every single scene he was in, he gave something. Like, and he arguably the star of this first episode. And I don't know if everyone is
Mhm.
going to be like that, because obviously it might depend on like, who the base captain or whatever it's called is. But I love that they brought them in together. Like, I love that they're not like pretending like they know each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
like, and that I feel like is gonna be like a storyline here where like these two have worked together, and like they have a pre-existing relationship, and so maybe they feel a little bit more comfortable, and like they clearly feel more comfortable, like kind of like ragging on each other and like being a little competitive with each other, and I love it because they both have such fun personalities. Yeah, both of them are just so great, but Marshawn was like literally the star of this whole premiere
Yeah,
episode.
to
So
me, it was almost like that Richard Sherman knew what this was and Marshawn Lynch didn't, and then just sort of like
which is
suckered
better.
him into like,
Yeah, he's like,
come
"Come
with
on, it'll be
me,
fun."
be a
Yeah.
come with guy, come on."
Yeah, and they saw the beds and he's like, "Absolutely not."
They have Skittles. Let's go. Come on. All right.
I just love how he's like, he does not play ball. Like, well, he literally
He
does
does.
play
Well,
football,
not
but like
anymore.
he does, like he will stick to his guns with people. He's like, "Nah, nah, like, you're not getting what you want from me." I love it.
Okay. And then the last person to enter the house properly is the aforementioned Lance Armstrong. Now, this is, in my mind, like a weird spot for Lance Armstrong to really come back into the public eye. I don't know what Lance Armstrong has been doing most recently.
Yeah, I don't either. I really don't know much about his personal life these days. Do you think that this is
Is
like
he
kind
still
of
with Sheryl Crow?
No, I thought that
That's
that
over?
ended like poorly.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's probably songs about it, right? Like,
Okay.
um,
Now, do we have to test Lance Armstrong for any performance enhancing substances?
mm, what do you take to enhance your performance on this here television show? Like probably just cocaine.
Yeah.
I just need to be high. I'm in space. I
I'll
gotta lift off.
be making good TV. Yeah.
Like, I don't
Uh,
know.
but Lance Armstrong is pretty fun here.
Yeah, no, I feel like he's our villain.
The
I don't know.
villain.
I feel like I'm getting a little bit of villain vibes from old Lancy Pants here.
Oh,
So
I don't know. I think he's coming across pretty well. I mean, him and Marshawn Lynch together, that was also a
really
really
fun.
great back and
Marshawn Lynch
forth.
calls him Louis Armstrong. So again, like
Louis
no one
Armstrong.
calls this man it's really
Yeah, he might get called Taryn before the end of the series.
Yeah.
Um,
He's any
the
Armstrong except for Lance.
Annie Armstrong. And then there's one other person that we will also get in the house. They end up needing to be rescued in one of the
Yeah,
first assignments. This is Natasha Leggero, a
yeah.
pedian, aka a comedian.
Pedian. Oh, that was so good. A pedian, and then they literally put it on her Chiron. Yeah, obviously like knew that she was coming in, and I was very confused that they chose to do this like weird twist, not really a twist, where it was like the 12th person coming in had to be rescued. It was like a pre-mission.
hmm
I don't like how did they decide that they're like, oh, it's gonna be Natasha that has to be like rescued as part
She
of
had
like
the least impressive like intro package, so we'll just like shoehorn her in by way of the rescue.
I guess, but like the way they did it, and I do think that, even though I really am only familiar with like her Comedy Central roast work, like I do think that she is pretty famous.
Yeah,
And so you'd think that if they were doing this with
she's in a
like
bunch of stuff.
if they're doing this with the final person, you think that it's like probably like the one of the biggest names on the cast, but like it's funny and
Yeah.
no offense to Natasha, but like we get Marshawn Lynch who says it might be Beyonce.
It might be. There was a little bit of like Masked Singer vibes of, and maybe this is like of coming from the top of Fox reality. Like anytime there's
Mhm.
like it could be a mystery celebrity, you just start throwing out like it could be maybe it's The Rock.
It's like the
Maybe
most
it's
famous person you could think
yeah.
of. But
This
like
is it
no
Kim
offense
Kardashian?
like no offense meant to any of these people on the cast because I love them all and they're all delivering. But like you're here and you're thinking, yes, definitely Beyonce is locked in some sort of like
Mm-hmm.
coffin-esque thing out there and
Mm-hmm.
is deciding that she's going to spend 24 of her days as like one of the most famous people in like anything to
Yeah, that's
pretend to
right.
be on Mars on Fox. Like
Yeah.
I love you, Marshawn Lynch, but like Beyonce's not doing this show. I'm so sorry.
Sorry about that.
That is
Yeah,
like
and
a really far fetch.
I know you and I were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, but how did they not get Lance Bass for this?
I don't know. Maybe they said we can only do one
Did
lance,
Lance Bass
and
say no?
I, I don't know. I mean, why didn't they get like Lance
Chris
Bass
Kirkpatrick?
truly on the circle? Like, could have had Lance Bass truly on the
I guess
circle and not
so.
just his assistant. So maybe he's like, he maybe he feels like, because he's like a big reality TV fan, maybe he feels like he can't, like, poop where he eats, and he wants.
Maybe he could have been the base commander. You get to poop somewhere else.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, that's the best part of being base commander. But yeah, I don't know, maybe they just said we can only have one Lance, and it's way funnier to have Lance Armstrong because someone might think
It
he's
is
Neil
way funnier.
Armstrong.
Yeah.
It is. It is. No offense to Lance Bass. I think he would be fun as well.
Jenny, let's talk through the events of what happened in episode number 1 of Stars on Mars. So we get everybody loaded in, and the recruits, is that what they are? Or am I still in Special Forces,
I
World Stuff
I don't
Status?
know that they're recruits, but I don't know what they're referring to them as. So
Yeah.
until we get further, aspiring astronauts. I don't know.
Aspiring astronauts. Okay.
Yeah.
So we get from Shaddy Daddy. He comes in and he gives them the message. And basically, this is a good use of Shatner. Like he doesn't have to like be running around or anything like that.
No.
He's just like recording like
Like
his
video diaries.
messages.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they get them and they watch them, and it's great. And we find out that one, there is like an element of rations and like controlling the food supply here in this
Yeah.
show. I didn't know that was a thing. It sounds like it's going to be a big deal. I am excited for that.
Yeah. Like, not only do they have, it's not like the Big Brother house where it's like, there's deliveries to the like the pantry. They are given a set amount of groceries at the beginning. And also, they're growing their own food too. There's this
Yep.
whole biodome crop area with like plants, which looks super dope, honestly. I don't know. I don't think they're growing dope, but it looks dope. This like room of plants. It's like a little greenhouse.
Hmm.
Um, and they're like growing like blueberries and olives, apparently. Like, they've got like different food that they're growing, because I guess the like dry goods in the kitchen are not enough. And so like they're really treating this like space. It's like, in space you can't just like dip down to the grocery store to get more food when you run
That's it.
out. So they have them, like keeping track of all of the stuff they have because they need to actually ration it. So you kind of almost have like a survival
Survive. Yeah.
element
Yeah. And
here.
somebody could go loco and then eat all of the rations.
Yeah. I mean, is someone going to dump rice into some sort of fire? Is there fire here?
Hmm.
What does fire represent on Mars? I don't know.
We don't know. We don't
We
know.
don't know yet.
Okay. All right. So in the rules of the game, there are a lot of elements that are similar to Big Brother. And
Mhm.
so we have a base commander. The base commander sort of functions as the HOH
Mhm.
of the base. They get their own room and, more importantly, their own bathroom, Jenny.
This is very, very important. And let me tell you, I truly so the I truly do not believe that our eventual base commander would have been this person if it weren't for
The
the
bathroom.
fact of the bathroom and the special bed, private quarters that come along with it. Like, in Big Brother, like, the HOH powers, it's like, it's nice. Like, yeah, it would be nice to have like my own room and snacks and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't think that anyone has been that like quick from not being interested in like being in charge to immediately wanting to be in charge once they saw the living conditions that came along with this position of power.
Hmm.
Uh it was incredible.
It was the bed, but also the bathroom.
Yeah, it's, and which I understand. Like, I saw the little pods that they sleep in, and, like, they seem pretty private. Like, there's, like, little curtains you can pull down. Like, yes, they have, like, male, female separated,
Mhm.
like, areas
Yeah.
of, like, bunks. So they are technically, like, sleeping in a big room, but they're not, like, sharing beds on Big Brother, like they do on Big Brother at the beginning when there's so many people. Like, they all appear to have their own bunk, but, like, this is just, like, a tiny little room with its own little bed, but a private bathroom. And I mean, I don't know what gravity and lack thereof is doing up
Yeah.
in fake space, but I'm not gonna be mad at a private bathroom. Like, that sounds pretty great.
That sounds pretty good if you can get it. Even on Earth, I think that's pretty good. So,
I'm always searching for the private bathroom.
yeah, Marshawn Lynch, that he ultimately decides to do it, and, no sooner than that, do we get the word about the rescue mission that we have Lance Armstrong and Ronda Rousey get selected to go on to go rescue Natasha Leggero.
Yeah. And I don't recall how they got selected, but at this point we have decided that Marshawn is going to be base commander, and then basically, like, for 48 hours he kind of just, like, makes the decisions.
Mhm.
Um and did he decide that Lance and Ronda were going to go out, or, like, was that I didn't really
Yeah,
understand
I
how it was
think he
decided.
might have,
He's like,
but
Yeah.
ultimately, it seemed like a mission they couldn't fail on. Like, could you imagine, like,
Yeah.
Natasha Leggero doesn't get to
They're
play
like,
because
yeah.
Ronda Rousey biffed it, and sorry, you died.
Sorry, you actually die in
You
this
didn't
little
get to be on the
box.
show,
Yeah.
because you ran out of oxygen. So, all right, we have some tasks that have to be done around the base camp, Jenny.
Mhm.
We see people have to work on growing the food in the habitat. They have to do mandatory exercise time. Why are we doing this?
Well, they told us that well, I think the reason why they're doing that is, like, they want there to be, like, another, like, lifestyle
Yeah,
element to it besides just, like, the missions and, like, the emergencies that they have to, like, solve. Like, they want it to be, like, a little bit like Big Brother or
the
Survivor,
yard,
where, like, you have, like, the day-to-day tasks. Because what we learn here is every 48 hours, if you are not mission critical, you will be ejected. And so I think that maybe these are, like, the other opportunities for, like,
mhm,
people. It's like, oh, they really help around camp. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that these are, like, the other opportunities, like, for people to, like, contribute to being mission critical, but, like, they're so stupid. Like, they had
mhm,
so Marshawn had to, like, get, like, a couple people going through the kitchen and, like, counting literally all of the food to, like, record what they had so that they could keep track of it. And then, like, same thing with the biodome crops. Like, they had them and they're, like, literally counting how many plants of, like, what type of food that they were growing to keep all of this. They had Ariel and Adam were polishing
polishing the
patches.
patches. Is that a
What does that even
euphemism?
mean?
Yeah.
That does literally sounds like a euphemism. And then, like, they were bonding over folding laundry, which I've never listen, I love a good celebrities, they're just like us moment.
They're just
This was
like us.
not one for me.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
I'll tell you a moment that was for me. I thought that one of the highlights of the episode was Marshawn Lynch and Lance Armstrong together in the gym. And Marshawn Lynch is like scoffing at, Lance Armstrong, like, performance enhancing or not. He's like one of the more like accomplished athletes like of all time.
Yeah.
And Marshawn Lynch is really questioning, like, are you even an athlete?
Well, they are on exercise bikes while they are
Yes.
having this conversation, which makes it extra funny. And Marshawn is just, like, completely chirping Lance, being like, "So you really consider yourself an athlete? Like, really? Like, you ride a bike?" And Lance is like, and so he asks him, like, "Oh, how long will one of these races last?" And he's like, "3 weeks." He's like, "Yeah, I'll ride this bike for, like, 3 weeks straight." And
Mhm.
Marshawn's still like, "Mm, but this is pretty easy. Like,
Yeah.
I'm literally doing it right now."
He's like, "I thought you were gonna say, like, 50 miles."
Yeah. It's like,
Mhm.
"No, no, like, literally days
Yeah.
upon days straight of riding this bike."
And then
Yeah.
Jenny, Lance Armstrong then tries to shame Marshawn Lynch. Says, "Hey, how long
Mhm.
is the average football play?"
And they both know. They said
It's
7
7
seconds.
seconds. Yeah, who's the athlete now?
Yeah, I
Who's the
love
7-second chump, Marshawn?
and that's why I think that I see a little bit of villain potential in Lance, because I think that he can take it, but he can dish it out a little bit, and I think that he's biding his time a little bit here,
Mhm.
where he's like, it's like, let this person be the person in charge first. This is the big dog. Like, he's trying to undermine my, like, accomplishments here,
Mhm.
and I'll have my time. You know what I mean? Like, I just
Well,
got that energy from Lance Armstrong that he's like, I will get the last laugh here, Marshawn Lynch.
okay. Well, the two of them have a very funny, like, back and forth. There's a
Very
point
fun, yeah.
where Lance Armstrong asked Marshawn Lynch, "How many Super Bowls do you have?" Now, Jenny, famously, Marshawn Lynch should have a second Super Bowl if not
Yep.
for the uh, completely asinine play calling of the Seattle Seahawks and one Russell Wilson. And if had they Marshawn Lynch gotten the football at the right moment, the New England Patriots would have one less championship.
Which they could use one less. Like, they don't need that many.
Hmm. But
And then Marshawn would have a better answer to this
yeah,
question.
Lance Armstrong was like, "What? Was only one?
Only
What?
one?
What? Do you
He
think
said, "I
he
won one
knew?
and I lost one."
You think he knew?"
I think he does. I think he did. I think he
Wow.
had an idea. I think he knows enough. I think that that was, like, Lance's way of, like, kind of, like, the undermining kind of dig, where it's like, he's not, like, blatantly insulting you to your face. He's, like, kind of getting you to, like, provide the material for him to be like,
Hmm.
"Oh, really?"
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I
That's
think
weird.
he's low key our villain, okay? That's my early
Okay.
prediction. I think that he's, like, evil genius Lance Armstrong.
So then we see Lance Armstrong asking Marshawn Lynch to use his private bathroom. And Marshawn Lynch is like, no, I'm not going to do that. And he claims that he has seen Lance Armstrong eating a ton of beans and he doesn't want him to go in there and blow up his bathroom.
This to me, though, my interpretation of this was, I don't think that Marshawn saw Lance eat lima beans. I think he said he looks like he eats lima beans. Like,
Hmm.
he's typecasting him as, like, this looks like the kind of person
That
that
would,
likes
he
beans.
does. He does look like the kind of guy that
He's
would eat
giving
lima beans.
lima bean energy, you
He's
know?
giving lima
And he
bean
said,
energy.
"No lima beans in my bathroom."
Yeah.
And this is just incredible, because I think that Lance thought that he was, like, just joking around being like, "No, you can't use my bathroom." And I think Lance was just like, "Ha ha ha, very funny, like, so can I use it?"
Yeah.
And, like, Marshawn's like, "No, you can't go in there."
And Lance Armstrong also seemed to evoke that there was like time is of the essence.
Yeah. The beans were speaking, I think.
Yes, yes. Liftoff was coming
Yeah,
soon.
exactly.
Yes.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe Marshawn did see something. Maybe the lima beans were happening,
Yeah.
but,
And now
um,
are lima beans also like I feel like that is not typically the type of bean that you would associate with gastrointestinal distress.
I think it's, like, all beans.
All beans.
I think that just, like, people I think that honestly, I think it's, like, a dig because, like, people don't get excited about lima beans. Like, I feel like lima beans are, like, the vanilla of beans.
The vanilla of beans.
Yeah, where it's like, like, it's like Cochrane saying that, like, no one, like, jumps for joy for,
Mhm.
I'm totally butchering the quote, but, like, for vanilla, as a flavor, which I disagree with. I think vanilla is delicious. But, I just feel like lima is just, like, no one's getting excited about lima beans, and so, like, no
Yes.
one talks about it.
I believe that Cochrane was comparing Survivor
Ju
Caramoan's
Julia
Julia.
Landauer,
He
yeah.
was saying that she was kind of vanilla, and then walked it back and said, actually, children clamor for the taste of vanilla, where no
Oh.
one clamors for Julia.
But just children clamor for. I thought he was also kind of down. Well, I mean, he did kind of.
I think he was saying people actually. No, he walked it back. He
It
said
was like,
people love
take it
vanilla.
even worse. It's like,
Yes.
actually, I should not insult vanilla like that.
Mhm.
But I still think that like people don't dislike lima beans. I think it's just like they're like not.
I don't mind
Like,
them. It's like
I
they're
don't
fine.
even know
Yeah.
if what I've like maybe in a soup. I don't think
Yeah.
I'm like buying lima
I think
beans
you
to use
get
them
them a
for
lot,
anything.
like in like the mixed vegetable.
A
You get
bean
by like
salad.
bean salad. Yeah, they're
Definitely
in
in a
there.
bean salad.
They're in there. They're out
I
there.
mean, I would expect several beans in a bean
But I don't
salad.
think Lance Armstrong eats a bowl of lima beans.
Yeah, just straight bean in, like, just buckets of beans. Just
Bean strong.
beans strong.
He wears the green bracelet now. I'm being
Ready to
strong.
blow up your bathroom.
That gives him extra horsepower on the bike.
He can go for 4 weeks,
Yeah,
actually,
it's like
now.
the Fast and the Furious. He's got the nitro. Powered
The
by
Tour
lima
de
beans.
France drift.
The tour to something else. I'm not going to say it. All right. All right. Jenny, we need to recompose because all
Oh,
right.
we have to.
All right. We get from Shaddy Daddy that okay. There's a big issue that's coming up.
Mhm. Yeah,
What's the problem?
well, Rob, a fierce Martian dust storm, that's words in a string, has knocked over communications. And there's like satellite towers and antennas have been knocked over by a Martian dust storm.
Mhm.
And now they need to, it's a big emergency because you think they're going to sleep.
No.
And the emergency alarms go off.
I knew
And
this was
Shaddy Daddy
happening.
shows up.
They're showing everybody going to sleep. I'm like, "Up, something's happening."
No, something happened here. And Shaddy Daddy lets us know that there will be constant emergencies. Like that you better get ready for this. So this particular
You better
emergency,
get ready.
yeah. And so basically he says if you fail today, well, at first he said that Earth will be destroyed.
Yes.
And then he walked that back and he said,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry, I misread. It happens
Yeah.
to all of us, and the link between Mars and Earth will be destroyed. Again, not
Okay.
Mars.
So everybody's gonna go out, and Tallulah, she gets like a promotion to being the mission specialist. That was just like a production pick.
I don't understand. Like, so they literally just declared, like, okay, Tallulah, you are mission specialist, and the mission specialist is safe from extraction. So it's literally just like being given like immunity.
Yeah.
For I have no idea why. Like, at least they like as a group decided that Marshawn would be the base commander. Like, they had to like come to a conclusion together at the beginning. This was seemingly randomly decided by production, so I don't know if it will always be like that. But basically, like this person, at least in this mission, acts as the co-pilot to the base commander, and they don't actually have to partake in like the active part of the mission. They're like they stay at the base and they're not going to be extracted.
Okay. So that's what happens with Tallulah. Everybody else is gonna go and have to go fix the antenna. Jenny, now tell me if you think this is I'm off on an island. This was actually my least favorite part of the episode.
Oh, I am fully 100% on board with that take. This is where I started to. It was giving me watching immunity challenges on Survivor, where I black out and look at Twitter. Like,
but worse than immunity challenges, where in the immunity challenges,
you can see
like
colors.
you can see colors.
Yes.
This was it was hard to see. It
Mhm.
was also
I had no idea
like
what was going on.
no idea what was going on. I wasn't exactly sure. Like I could see that they were trying to raise a tower
Yeah.
and I could tell when that was happening. But other than that, I just feel like that also because the Survivor, and maybe this will improve. This is only Stars on Mars episode 1. The
Mhm.
coverage of the challenge, it was all like very like wide. Um, we were not getting like close-ups of like people. So everybody's wearing spacesuits,
Yeah,
so
you
it's
can't
hard
tell
to
who anyone
see.
is half the time. Like, I
Yeah.
even had closed captions on, and, like, half the time I wasn't sure, like, who was talking, and there was, like it sounded like part of the problem with this particular mission was that, like, there was a lot it was chaotic, and there was a lot of people talking and yelling at once, because you had, like, Marshawn and, Tallulah, like, at the base, like, trying to communicate with because they're, like, instructing them on what they have to do, I guess. I just didn't care and also had no idea what was going on. And it was just like you would get like the odd confessional of people being like, I had no idea what was going on and I stayed out of the way. Or like we had like, like a fun confessional from Natasha where she was like, I stayed off to the side in the loser zone with Chris and Adam, who were
Mhm.
apparently also just doing nothing. There there were all this talk about securing the winch. We got to secure the winch. I don't know. I still don't know what a winch is. It was very important to the mission, though.
I think the winch is the thing that, like, rolls up the cable,
Like the
and so
crank,
yeah,
kind
and
of. Okay.
so that had fallen down. The tower had fallen due to
Hmm.
and it does seem like that this is a thing that happens on Mars on shows that I watch, and they had to get it fixed back up, and they had to, like, get the cables connected out there, but, hard to follow at the very least.
Yeah. Yeah. There was just certain points where I'm like, oh, that person did a thing. What was the thing? I don't know. They tried. Like they gave us enough to let us know what people were like kind of participating in the activity and what people were like not really, so that there was at least some context for where we were going to go with like the
Mhm.
decisions, I guess. But it was extremely like, yeah, like I tune out of immunity challenges very regularly, but I will give them this where it's like there are bright colors, like you can follow like certain things. This was like all dark and like weird shots and very confusing. So, not my favorite.
Okay. Again, the first ever Survivor Immunity Challenge is a mess to watch if you
Right.
watch it back. So let's.
Yeah.
I will give some grace to Life on Mars.
And we
That
should.
maybe that they should get these challenges better moving forward. Okay.
Yeah. Can you just,
We
like, not do it in fake Mars so, like, we can see it better?
right, right. Maybe just say like, okay, this is like we have like special technology that we can see it better,
Yeah.
something like that.
You have special lights here on
Yeah.
fake Mars.
Maybe do some challenges, like, in the compound.
That would be great. Like,
Mhm.
let's do a scavenger hunt.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Like, let's get some, like, claim to fame-esque type challenges. Give me that.
Sure, sure. Okay. So then they needed to then decide who was mission critical,
Yeah.
and then they were gonna get it down to 3 people who were not mission critical. Now, I was a little confused the way they started doing this because it turns out that they do their eliminations, and there's always something else, some other show that we could point to, that they do the elimination, it's kind of like The Bachelor.
Rose
Like, they
ceremony, yep.
kinda get it down to the roast ceremony, although I didn't realize that's what they were doing for a little bit. Like, we had the patches, they were polishing the patches. It turns out that the patches given out were basically the roses.
Yeah, so, like, the patch for this so I guess this particular mission was, like, about communication. So, if you, like, ended up being mission critical for this mission, like, you get the communication patch. I think, like, each patch has, like, a theme, I
I thought it was a
think?
leadership patch.
Oh, is it leadership and not maybe, yeah, I'm mixing them up.
Or maybe
Anyway,
leadership
yeah, so it
patch
was
is
leadership.
okay.
It was leadership, yes. I'm
Yeah.
looking at my notes now. But I also they did say that the challenge was about communication, so I don't
Mhm.
really I don't know. It's
I think
confusing.
the communications tower was knocked out.
literally the communications. It was about the communications tower, so that must have been it. But yeah, so this is where it was interesting, where the base commander and the what is the mission specialist,
Yep.
so Marshawn and Tallulah, they together, the base commander, being like the main decision maker, calls
Mhm.
in a person one by one to say, so and so, you are mission critical, and they come in and they get their patch, and basically until you get down to 3, and then like that's the bottom 3. But then it seemed to me, at least how they did this, was that it was a group decision at that point on like which one gets ultimately eliminated. Is that how it seemed to you?
Yeah, I think there's a vote.
Yeah.
I think
No, we
I
didn't
think it's
see the vote,
we didn't see the
but
vote. It was unanimous, they said.
it did seem like they talked about it as a group and came to a unanimous decision.
Yeah. Okay, so they get it down to, I believe, as McLovin says,
Yeah.
the 3 frail little white men.
Yes. That is what he said. They all hugged. He said, "Oh, the 3 frail little white men."
Mhm. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So then they asked him, like, why should you stay? McLovin said he was doing a favor by staying out of the way, which I do think that this is a valid strategy, Jenny. This is me in every escape room I've ever been in.
I was
And
gonna say
yeah,
this is me.
yeah,
We literally just did an
yeah.
escape room together. I feel like this is
Yes.
me too.
Yeah, this is it's just like, hey, there's people here that know what they're
They know what they're doing.
doing. They're touching
Let
everything. They're doing
let
everything.
them cook,
I'm
you
not gonna be
know?
the person who's gonna be like, oh, get my
No.
hands on this.
My role in escape rooms is hype up somebody else when I think that they are onto something, and also doing the easiest task. Like, you remember in that escape room when like Marianne was like, Jenny, Rob, put your hand on this thing where there's like
Sure.
handprint. I
Yep.
was like,
Yep.
I can do that. Absolutely. I know how to
Yep.
put my hand on a thing that looks like a hand. Like, perfect. Like, that
Yes.
is my role.
Good use of me. Yes.
Yes, like,
Yes.
please let me do this. You use your brain, because that does not work. So I understood what McLovin was going for here, where it was like sometimes there was a lot of people there and it was a little chaotic, and sometimes it's most helpful to stay out of the way if you don't necessarily think that you're going to be like the most contributing. The problem with this argument is you're basically saying like, I was useless,
Hmm.
you didn't need me, and so what I did was I just didn't participate. So it's like, I get that argument, but like if you're also trying to say I will be valuable to you to in the future, you're not really giving that argument. Like, you're not
Yeah.
putting inspiring a lot of hope for the next mission.
And nobody knew what he was doing
No.
at
No
all.
one had any idea. Maybe
Okay.
Natasha. She said he was in the loser zone, so I don't know.
Mhm. Okay. So then Adam gets asked. He's one of the 3 people left.
Mhm.
And this is like he goes like out of the Jam Jam playbook. That they ask him like, what was your role to the mission? He's like, well, I am one of the hottest people here, so that's important. And everybody
Yeah, like,
laughed.
why are you mission critical? It's like, well, I am pretty hot and you should
Hmm.
keep me for that reason. It's like,
Hmm.
yeah, and everyone was like, he makes a good point.
Yeah.
Like,
And he
he
even
is
says like, yeah, I
honest.
was not helping at all. Like that
Yeah.
was I was trying to hide.
But that's the thing, is like he went for, like the humor. He's like, "Hey, isn't it nice to have someone around that like is fun and is like making this experience enjoyable?" Which I will argue, I think McLovin would also have done, but
I'm sure he would have.
I
Yeah.
think that was like, Adam has to take the angle that he knows there, and you can't also say, "Yes, I also tried to stay out of the way." It's like he had to
Hmm.
do something a little different, and I think that he did that well.
Okay. And then there's also Tom. And Tom allegedly says that he got superhuman strength
Yes.
on this test. Now, I cannot even verify that he was the person that got the winch to where it was
I
supposed to
thought
be.
Ariel was the winch
He said it was
whisperer.
him.
Mm, Listen, I don't know. There's nothing about any of these men from Vanderpump Rules that I've heard anything about that I should trust their word. So I don't
Hmm.
know.
Well, he says he's the best of the worst. He's feeling good. They say, all right, get in here, you.
Listen, I do find that very relatable though. Like there's something where it's like I'm bad, but I'm the best of being bad.
Mm-hmm. Not as bad as
So,
them.
yeah. It's
Let me
like
in. Give me a patch.
yeah. And I do think though like he benefited from, the rest of the group vouched for him where they were like, no, he was mission critical. He was doing things because I think that's the tricky part with, having Tallulah and Marshawn making the decisions on like which ones get put in the bottom three because they're basing that on like their communications and like what they saw on camera. And I know that there was like a point where like Tom was like not speaking at all and they had no idea what was going on with him. So I almost feel like it was like a like communication work because like I I love Natasha and I'm glad she's still there. But like I think Natasha did less than Tom.
Yeah.
She was the one that said that she was in the loser zone with Adam and McLovin. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that was where like the rest of the group was like, no, you can't get rid of Tom. He actually did stuff.
Okay. And then we get our vote, and it's McLovin versus Adam Rippon. And everybody says unanimously, Adam, you get to stay. And McLovin gets banished.
My heart was broken.
What's the
I will
word they
say.
use for this?
Extracted or
Extracted from the simulation.
yeah, you
Now,
get
can I tell you what I didn't like at the end?
what
McLovin is like then like out in the like
daytime
allegedly in the
Mars?
daytime, and basically is giving like his final words like, okay, this was like not real, we're not really on Mars now.
Yeah, he had like a solar flare or something, and then he was like, none of these people could do this except maybe Ronda Rousey.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, oh, we're losing the allure of
Yeah,
this real experiment here.
so I don't know, like I feel like I like how the show is so campy, but I feel like it sort of like drops the camping. I don't know, is it dropping the campiness to sort of like have it like I feel like they should sort of be like back in the old Apprentice days, like in the backseat of the limo. Like, should he be on like a shuttlecraft back to Earth, or are they
that
supposed
would
to
be
like
fun.
not be like actually like we're like are we? Is it supposed to be like a training facility on Earth that they're in?
Um that is the part that's confusing because Shaddy Daddy said that there's like a link
Yeah,
between
17
Mars
minute.
and
Yeah, so I
Earth.
mean, the whole thing we act as if they're on Mars. It just feels a little weird that we at the very end, but that's a minor nitpick.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
all things considered, like what a
we love it.
blessing this
We
was,
love it.
like like we compared to the scraps that we had been feeding on in like other shows, I feel like we have
Hmm.
full bellies after
Although
this.
I
So.
did threaten to take my wife to Judge Steve Harvey today.
Well, I from what I know about Nicole, she has no interest in engaging in
Hmm.
any of the Judge
Yeah,
Steve Harvey.
I,
What were you
I'm trying to remember why I said I was going to sue her. Oh, I think that she I think this had to do with in a dream that she had.
what you're suing were you did something bad in the dream or
No,
she did
no,
something bad in the dream?
she did.
Oh no.
And then I think that in her dream, she said I was going to she claimed that I said I was going to sue her. And I said, "What? Am I going to take you to Judge Steve Harvey?"
That's what you do. That is the place
Mhm.
you sue your current partner. You don't
Mhm.
there's no divorce, there's no
Yep.
separation. You
Yep.
just settle your disputes with a friendly civil suit in front of Judge Steve Harvey.
That's right.
Oh,
Okay.
he would be fun on this.
He would be good. He would be great,
Like
Judge Steve
he would
Harvey.
I don't know that he would be mission critical, but
He would be even be a good host.
Oh yeah, yeah. But
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, like the hosting is perfect on this. Like they call him Shatty Daddy. He's already got a nickname. Like they're
Mhm.
loving it. It's so fun. Also, how did they get dirty? Like, did you
I think
notice
it's
that when
so
they came in from
windy.
the mission, like it's just really dusty or something? Because like they're wearing these helmets, but they like like Marshawn Lynch was like telling Ariel that she looked like an Oompa Loompa because she was like covered in like orange dust. Like they were
Mhm.
filthy.
Yeah.
I don't
Um,
know.
so
I don't know what
there's
they're
some
doing.
there's some production issues, yeah.
It's fine, but really, I'm just being nitpicky at this point. I'm just trying to understand it. The production quality is still very, very good.
We're trying to understand. All right.
Yeah.
Jenny, anything else about Stars on Mars?
Just I had a really good time with it. I went in with high hopes because I saw as soon as I found out that the show existed, I texted you because I was like,
Mhm.
this is right up our alley. And the people they saw it too. And so I'm glad that we did this. And I did have some high hopes because I was like, I feel like this is stupid in like the way that
In
I
the best
like
way.
in the best way. And it actually was, like, more fun and, like, had more, like, the fact that there's, like, people are voted out, like, "Oh my god, we're actually watching a show where, like, there's an element of, like, yeah, you don't just quit the game, like, you will be voted out." That's super fun. Yeah, there's just more to it than I even
Super
expected.
bad.
Super bad. It was super bad for McLovin.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I had a really, really good time with it, and I hope that it
Oh,
continues with
S
that
Sam Moore is
energy.
saying that the ratings for it were super bad also.
Oh, well,
It's gonna pick up some steam.
yeah. I
Wait till
mean,
people hear
maybe they
this
need to
podcast.
hear. Yeah, people need to hear. Well, here's the thing. Maybe people watched Special Forces: World's Toughest Test, and they're like, I'm done with
Yeah.
the celebrities doing the weird tests. It's not
No,
working
no.
for me.
It's
I'm telling you, this is
Hel
not the
get the
same.
word out. Get the word out. Look.
Yes.
Okay. So, looking ahead. We're like, "Oh, boy, Claim to Fame is coming back," but this is on, but, man, I don't know, maybe this gets canceled before we even get to, Claim to Fame.
No.
No.
Rob, it is a crime if of all the shows that we have covered in this year that
This is
stars
gonna
on
pick up.
Mars,
This is gonna
what
pick
else?
up.
What are they gonna do instead? It's June and we're in a writer's strike. Like, what are they gonna put on instead? Come
Yeah,
on.
we might get a fall season of Stars on Mars.
Yeah. Maybe they'll go to a different planet, like, who
Mhm.
knows?
Yeah, but no, it was so good. Thank you, Fox, for
Thank
bringing this back
you.
to us. Okay, you've
Yeah.
redeemed
You're
yourself
yeah, you're back in
after
the good
it was a
books.
cold 2023 between Special Forces and Farmer Wants a Wife, but
Yeah.
we're back. We're back.
Yeah. We're
All
back,
right,
baby.
Jenny,
I'm
what's
pleased.
coming up for you?
Just, June is an exciting month, because Stars on Mars is here
Yeah,
and Joe uh
June is for
well,
Jenny.
June is for Jenny. Um and writer strikes are for Jenny and Rob. No,
Hmm.
Claim to Fame season 2 is coming back later this month and I don't know what this is
Yeah,
going to look like because like I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but like are we really questioning whether we're gonna hit or quit Claim to Fame? Like, we watched Claim to Fame last summer before Hit or Quit was even the concept, and we thought, "Here's another silly little, reality show that is probably gonna be so terrible," and it ended up being a sensation, and I just think I have very high hopes for what this new season is going to look like, and I'm not thinking like I'm not looking at it the way I did last summer where I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be so cringe." Like, it is a very quality,
yeah,
reality television show, and I am very excited for it, and I don't expect that I'm going to be in a situation where I'm, like, questioning whether I'm gonna continue watching it, you know what I'm saying?
we love it.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
very excited about that, and other than that, I mean, I already said it, like, this is great. I like that we have, like, a little quiet time before the BB chaos, you know?
Hmm.
Like, leave it for late summer. This is great. Let's give June and July
Don't
to
get
just
us
like
canceled, Jenny. We're doing so well.
why would we get canceled? I think
You're happy Big Brother isn't on until
I'm not.
later?
I am because I think well, I feel like Survivor went kind of late this year. And like I just think that like let's have like a little period in between
It's
where we can
fine.
like
It's
get
all gonna be fine.
creative,
It's all
you
gonna
know?
be fine. Yeah,
It's all gonna be fine, everyone.
all
It's
gonna be
gonna
fine.
be great. And watch Claim to Fame season 2. It's gonna be really fun. That will keep you going until Big Brother. I
Okay.
promise.
All right, Jenny. Thank you so much for joining us for Stars on Mars. We are going to be continuing to cover Stars on Mars next week
Let's
on the Hit
go,
or Quit
baby.
podcast. You can subscribe at robisonwebsite.com/hit or quit feed. Thank you for joining us. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.